previous episode, I don't remember what I said. You see, that's how hard it is. This whole thing, let us never forget, not that it matters, but this whole thing was because we were going to flatten the curve. We remember they wouldn't shut up about it. We're going to flatten the curve, and what flattening the curve meant, and we all know what it means. God knows they pounded that stupid graph into our skulls. Was if we all get the disease at once, we'll overwhelm the hospitals. But if we flatten the curve, we all get it at different times. So then there will be enough hospital beds and ventilators and all these things, right? Because flattening the curve takes as given that everybody gets the disease. It was like, do you want your grandma to get COVID? No, you don't understand. Flattening the curve told us your grandma will get COVID. The question is, what we are trying to do is make sure that when your grandma gets COVID, she's not like laying on a couch in the hospital's waiting room, that there's a bed for her and all and such and so on. That was what we were told. And the idea was,
yeah, she was supposed to be dying on a gurney in a field hospital.
Yeah.
That's set up in a Wendy's parking lot.
Yes, they said we don't want to be like China, where China had to seal off the city and call in, doctors from all around the countryside and building up all these emergency hospitals. They're like, we don't want to be caught in that position. We're just gonna get you right. We're gonna, everybody wait your turn. So what we're trying to reduce is not the cases, but case fatalities, right? We want us all to live through this. America has an incredibly low case fatality rate. And I remember distinctly that Donald Trump was being interviewed by some Australian, who cares, it doesn't matter. And Trump was saying, quote, we have the best numbers. And the person was saying, no, what about cases per population? And then Trump was saying, no, we have the lowest amount of deaths. And the guy's like, no, you don't. And then Trump pulls out a graph, and then the guy says, oh, you mean deaths per cases, but we're not looking at that. That's what we were looking at. Originally, it's what we were talking about. It's what we were trying to reduce. And America, having the best healthcare system in the world, basically, had the ultimate stress test and had the lowest case fatalities, or at least in the bottom 5. Americans are more likely than anybody else, except for I think Sweden has a lower case fatality rate, which is interesting unto itself. Americans have some of the lowest case fatalities, are more likely than anybody else to survive COVID, because our evil quasi-private healthcare system is, in fact, the best and most adaptable in the world. There's no one you're going to tell that to. There's nobody who you're going to say, anybody who, the set of people who believe that we need to be locked down, and the set of people, like that Venn diagram of, people who be willing to hear the phrase, we have the best healthcare system in the world.
They're not even on the same piece of paper.
Yeah, they're not on the same piece of paper. They're never going to accept it. But that is the proof. It's useless knowledge. It's just
what you just said to about, I don't know, probably something like 40 to 60% of the country. That everything you just said is something out of science fiction.
Yes.
The idea that we're doing the best, their understanding is we're doing the worst, that we failed, we're very failed, to use a Trumpism, in our reaction to this, and that your thing about how we're the most likely to survive or whatever, what I'm seeing is people who seem to believe that nobody survives from this, that when you get it, you die. Everyone dies. Everyone who gets it dies.
Yeah.
Especially the reaction to the newest famous case of someone testing positive. Everyone seems to think this means that they're dead.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's not get to that yet. Wait, let's do this in order, please.
Okay, Chris Wallace.
Well, that's our next topic. We're not going to
try and rein me in.
Right. Yeah. First, although speaking of casualties, let us all take a moment to note that Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died. We live in a very strange situation. Yeah, our political enemies hold office for life, and we want them to not hold their office. We have to want them to die. That's just what that means. You know that Ginsburg was not going to retire during a Trump presidency. She wouldn't even retire during an Obama presidency. Thank you, Ruth. Naturally, therefore, you have to. That's saying I want a new person in Ginsburg's seat is saying I want her dead. That's just the way it goes. So she's dead. She died of cancer that she was pretending not to have. If you are a progressive and also listening to this show, this is Ginsburg's fault, and you need to at least accept that fact. You can't. She could have absolutely prevented this by retiring when Obama was president. Barack Obama told her to retire when he was president. Chuck Schumer told.
In itself is just so bullshit.
Yeah, every Democrat, when they had control, they were like,
political institution, and the president goes, "Hey, you should quit so I can put somebody in there."
Yes, I mean that's just the way the game goes. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg apparently.
And why did she say no? She said no because she had a little dream in her head where she's wearing her little doily, and the first female president is standing behind her. Or she's standing behind the first female president, beaming with pride, while the first female president replaces her with another lady. And they all, I don't know, whatever women do, they all grab each other's hands and jump up and down excitedly.
Progressives encourage this absurd selfishness because I remember after Scalia died, Scalia has something of a minor personality cult, or had it, right? Yeah. Everybody's like, Scalia.
He was like a character.
Yes, Scalia is like the uber constitutionalist, and conservatives liked it. Even when because I remember distinctly Scalia was he had made a public statement and saying flag burning was okay and legal, and conservatives were actually yeah, see, that just shows how nonpartisan and yet amazingly consistently constitutional Scalia is, and we're not liking Scalia for partisan reasons. We like him because he's a constitutionalist. You see, he likes this one thing that we don't, or not likes it. He favors one thing we don't, And so this is a costly signal. Are you endorsing someone who says flag burning is okay? That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for the Constitution, right? So Scalia had this sort of minor personality cult, not quite to the level of say James Mattis, but And when Scalia died and there was this outpouring of grief, the left said, "Oh shit, we need one of our own." Which justices can we create a personality cult for? Breyer? No. Sotomayor? No. Kagan? No. All right, looks like it's Ginsburg.
Yeah, that one would seem to be equally no.
Yeah, but they
800-year-old.
Yeah, oh, did you know? They're saying shit that came right out of North Korea. There was a reporter who's like, I did Ruth Bader Ginsburg's workout routine and I couldn't even keep up. But it was insane stuff. And they were saying, oh, she's super healthy, and also she's like this.
Meanwhile, she's riddled with every kind of cancer you can imagine. She was more virus than host at that point.
Yeah, she was like Mr. Burns. You have every disease known to man, and it's so you're saying I'm indestructible. It's no, sir, even a slight breeze could kill you. Indestructible.
So, do we think she died 2 years ago?
Who knows?
That's the thing. Is I've heard people. I kind of believed that until now, because it seems like if she was dead and they were faking it, why wouldn't they just hold on a couple more months?
No, listen, they're not hiding Ginsburg's death. Okay, because I know this.
Oh, well, you just dismiss it like it's so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous because
Do you at least believe that they killed Scalia?
Oh, that's possible. I am not too many. I'm actually surprisingly few degrees of separation from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It would have come I know people that know Ginsburg, so it feels like it would be a hard secret to keep.
Because you know people who know her?
Yes. I would have heard it.
Talk about narcissism.
Yes, that's right.
You can't keep things from me.
Yeah, exactly. There's no fool in this guy.
Cody Wilson was on Michael Malice's show, and I forget what the context was, but he said about the left, he said, all they know how to do is overplay their hand. And that's what Ginsburg did right to the end. Her hand was, I got this seat, and it's fucking golden, and I'm going to decide who I give it to. And then, they knew how it was all going to go, and then, cue the Curb Your Enthusiasm music, and now she's holding on for dear life.
Would you say so?
Shit.
So
and one of her last thoughts when she died was probably like, "I fucked up. I fucked it all up bad."
So Michael Malice, he understands then that Ruth Bader Ginsburg's problem was ego and hubris. Was that basically what you're saying?
Oh, that's really good. Tell him that at your next soiree. now you got me off track of my point, but yeah,
The
she
leftover
overplayed
plays their hand. Yeah.
yeah, she overplayed her hand on that, and she must have known at the end that, yeah, this is my fault. I could have saved us all if I had just stepped down, and she didn't.
Yeah,
and like you said, thanks.
She should have listened to Barack Obama. You see, it's because
She's voting by mail now.
It's because you know what? Ruth Bader Ginsburg was racist. If she'd only listened to the black man, there's the kinds of things that a black man in Chicago just knows about holding on to power.
Yep.
Barack Obama knows how the game goes, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg is like, what is this uppity Negro telling me to do? Who's got the law degree? Both of us. Well, I'm doing what I want. Well, guess what? You should have listened to the black guy, right? Barack Obama is the black best friend of the Democratic Party, and they should have listened to him. And now, so Trump announced that he was going to try to appoint Amy Coney Barrett, which has caused, again, you're listening to this podcast, you understand the situation, right? The left is going insane. He can't do that. It's an election year. Isn't it? Trump, you're doing something even though Mitch McConnell 4 years ago said he wouldn't do it. Like, they're holding Trump to the standards of someone else 4 years ago.
That's
but
the
again,
thing I couldn't understand is they keep saying this like 4 years. He wasn't even here.
Yeah.
They say this like he has to be held to what other people say. And also, even then, I could see the argument is different, which is that, well, the difference was that Trump didn't lose the Senate in between this and that.
Mitch McConnell's mistake at the time was justifying himself.
Yeah, he should have just done. They should just
no, because you're a Republican and Barack Obama was a Democrat, and there's going to be an election. It might work out better if I just don't do this. That's why.
Yeah.
Right.
Who would have really been mad?
Yeah, like why won't you listen to Barack Obama's nomination? Because I'm a Republican, he's not.
Yeah.
If Barack Obama wants one, right? How's this? Barack Obama, if he really wants a justice, he can try to find some way to wow me. All the polls say that Hillary Clinton's going to win this. The Republicans are running seemingly an incredibly unpopular candidate. So what Barack Obama can do, if he wants to play the odds a little bit and hedge his bets, is just find a justice that is good enough that I don't want to roll the dice on the election. Barack Obama nominated justice so bad that faced with the political situation of 2016, Mitch McConnell said, I'll actually roll the dice on the election, that he expected not only to lose, but to lose handily. And he was still like, I'll roll the dice on that. That means Barack Obama didn't even try.
Well, here's the thing, though, here's the deal. Here's what you're leaving out. I think you're forgetting about a very important provision in the Constitution, which is the last wish clause. Because as we all know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg said her last wish is that Donald Trump does not have another Supreme Court justice. So yes. Therefore, if he appoints one, he basically
violated the Make-A-Wish clause of the Article 1. Article 3.
So ridiculous. It's like on this topic, they have the two sides of what's your view on what judges are supposed to do, whatever Supreme Court justice, and the Republicans will say our view is the Supreme Court justice's job is to, read. They're basically serve no purpose. They're just there to remind us. They just pick up the Constitution and then they just read it and go, yeah, there it is. Just do that. But at least, obviously, it's silly. But at least it's a theory. It's the theory is they're supposed to just take that piece of paper and figure out how it applies to this law that you guys passed 200 years later, and just kind of
surprisingly Confucian.
Yeah, and then you ask the Democrats, and they're like, "Well, we're not going to. Come on, we're not going to tell you that. Yeah. We don't know what they do. Their view of how the what do you call it? Constitutional theory or their judicial theory
is insane. The more I think about it,
one side has one, and then the other side goes, well, it should be, we just pick people that we like based on the fact that we think they're kind of cool, and then their last wishes just determine whatever they want. We're basically electing they're basically an appointed
high priest.
Yeah, there's some sort of mullahs.
That's certainly one word you could use, yeah. Actually, frankly, the mullahs are far more faithful to original intent. Well,
I guess they're just some sort of high council that there's just 9 people who we pick from these 2 law schools, and they get to just decide arbitrarily how things work. But when you say it like that, it sounds like that can't be what the argument is. But I can't think of anything else. And then when you think it can't get any dumber, you go, no, they have to have deep down, they have to have some kind of principles or whatever that undergirds this. And then you hear this thing about, oh, well, we would appoint a new one, but it turns out her last wish